Hey everybody, this is your host Ray Coots, and it's fucking November. This is coming out November 1st, but it's summer in the year of our Lord 1995. It's SummerSlam 95. That's what we're covering today. And Andrew
Yes.
Lee, I think this is the perfect show that illustrates the point that the Meltzers, a lot of people don't want to hear that. Ultimately, great matches and great workers don't matter because Shawn Michaels on this show proves he's the man in 95. He has one of the best matches of the year, and the company is about to lose record viewers in a few weeks when Nitro shows up.
Um, yeah, but okay, that's true, but it's also kind of unfair to put it all on Shawn Michaels' shoulders because it's like
No,
one
no, no, no.
guy.
Yeah, what I what my thing is yes. If Shawn Michaels had a great story to copy, if Vince gave Shawn Michaels a great story, yes, you're right. But the thing about it is that like they push Shawn as the guy. I think this is the start of Shawn as guy. Nobody care. Nobody giving shit. They're watching this, but that the match was fantastic. Think of that.
Yeah, but I
You
mean, he's not the guy right now, and you're breaking up a little bit for me.
I know
Mhm.
honestly, and if you're a fan, if you fan in this era or watching this show, you probably see yourself, like H by the chance, or this is this month or two, but he's on his way.
Yeah, just letting you know, you're just breaking up a little bit, okay?
Well, that's because you're Andrew Lee.
Oh, okay. All right. If you're cool with it. All right, but let's get into it. SummerSlam, feel the heat, feel the Latino heat, or as Tony Hinchcliffe would say, pile of garbage heat, probably taking place.
Oh, Tony Hinchcliffe was at this show.
Yeah, he was at this show. Yeah, he is a big wrestling mark. Um, SummerSlam
Yeah,
takes place August 27th.
I know he was on the Undertaker's podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, everything I hear about him from like who everything I hear from, I'm sorry, fucking idiots. You hear-
I think because you're outside, maybe it's just like breaking up a lot. I don't know if you're finished with the conversation. You're done.
Andrew, I saw
Yeah.
your face the way the face that was frozen on the screen. It was like you were
Uh-huh.
just holding me in such contempt, you know?
Oh, was I?
I mean, I don't know, just the way your face froze for a second, but you're back.
Oh.
Are you back?
Yeah, yours still kind of. Oh, you're a little better now. It's a little better now.
I'm
I
going
guess.
back into my room. My dog was making a noise that I'm about to piss that she was about to piss her pants. So we went
Oh,
outside.
yeah,
So
it's
how about
actually
now? Am
better.
I good?
Yeah. You're not breaking up as much. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for the early inconvenience, but it was Tony Hinchcliffe's fault. There was some Puerto Ricans here decided to invade.
Yeah. Anyways, SummerSlam taking place August 27th, 1995, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 18,062 people are in attendance. It had a 205 pay-per-view buys. Let's do a little comparison. SummerSlam 1994, the one before, had 23,000, over 23,000 people in attendance, and it had 300,000 pay-per-view buys. SummerSlam 1996, which will be the SummerSlam after the one we're reviewing, will have 157,000 pay-per-view
Oh,
buys.
that's brutal.
So if you're looking, the pay-per-view numbers just keep dropping from like even for SummerSlam. This is definitely the low period of the company.
You
Just,
you know they
it
talk
just
about
goes down.
there's a Shawn Michaels documentary that comes out.
Mhm.
We're gonna be talking a lot about Shawn Michaels. for a while on this podcast, just so you know.
Yeah.
Because he's all over the place for a long time. And he causes a lot of drama, as you know.
Yeah.
This is so. Have you ever seen? They put this out like around 2006. It was a DVD about his life. It was a documentary. I forget what it was called, but in the DVD, Triple H, Shawn, and Vince kind of talk about this, where it's like this guy's putting on the greatest matches we've ever seen, and the ratings keep going lower and lower. And Shawn's like, that's what made me kind of be like an asshole, because I'm like, I'm literally like putting on these classics, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, and I don't understand what I have to do to get people to care.
It's because it's not all about work rate, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's not all about work rate, If you
Mhm.
look at like, dude, who would you say was a better wrestler? Like actual in-ring wrestler, Hogan or Macho Man?
Macho Man, 100%.
Okay,
But
yes.
Hogan
Wait,
had
hold on.
those intangibilities.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I would agree with you. Work rate wise, Savage was better than Hogan. But who was the more popular guy, Hogan or Savage?
Hogan, of course.
Hogan, hands down, Hogan. So it's not always about work rate. It's not.
But also, you know what? Let's get more in the show. When we get the ladder match, because there's a moment in the start of the ladder match where it's like, yeah, nobody my age would publicly get behind this guy. And I wonder if you picked up on the moment that happens during the start of the ladder match. But let's get into
let's get into it. Let's see. All right, so intro package gives us this really cheesy Diesel promo, and it also lets us know that Bret Hart versus Jerry King Lawler is still not fucking done for some reason, right? On
now
commentary,
Kane got involved.
yeah, and the commentary, it's Junior Vince McMahon Jr. and Jerry King Lawler, and they are gonna throw to Dean Douglas, who is in a classroom, and he's going to be doing every once in a while some like play-by-play stuff. But let's go into our first match. It's the 1-2-3 Kid versus Hakushi.
Wait, real quick. Don't just jump over Shane Douglas. He's the franchise. Calm down, relax.
No, we're gonna keep coming back to him. Yeah, this is just
don't get violent.
Come out a couple times.
He's really bad in this. I understand why Vince wanted him to be a teacher. It's like, oh, you were a teacher, let's make you a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Like Paul Bearer used to be a mortician, so that's why he was Paul Bearer. So forth.
And I think somebody else could have made this work. He's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, he doesn't come off. What? Okay, how could you have made this work? That's a better question.
I would have changed my voice if I was him. I would have wore a full suit. I would have wore a full suit like I'm Giles. You ever see Buffy?
Yeah.
Like I'm Giles and Buffy. I would have wore a full suit. I wouldn't have had that, the wrestler voice. I would have been more like, yeah, hello, I'm Dean Douglas, and I would have been a little bit more prissy. I would have like really came across as more like Damian Sandow than because he's basically. It looks stupider because he's doing the same vocal cadence as he's doing. It's the franchise Shane Douglas, but now he's a teacher, and it looks very much like he's selling out. But also, I will say this: this is the equivalent of like in 2000, WCW gets Steve Austin, and they want to make him a chef, and he shows up and he's like, "I'm Chef Steve Austin, and I'm cooking up a beating for my opponents," and he's like in a kitchen with a chef's hat on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do this to this guy? The reason is they wanted to humiliate him. They didn't like him.
That, and I think they were still in the the gimmicky era, right? Remember, we got like the Body Donnas, we got Mantar. This is like when Mantar's still around. They were still doing the gimmicky things, and I agree. You're right. He probably did not fit the role of a teacher well when he should have, even though he was a real teacher.
I would have prettied it up a little bit. I would have eased back from the
that's fair. Yeah, and that's fair. I think if you ask Shane Douglas, he probably would be like, nobody would have gotten it over. I was like, no, somebody could have. You're right. If somebody just took a different approach to it. But anyways,
I mean, it's like it's the equivalent to me if you made Arn Anderson gold dust. He could not have gotten that over, but Dustin Rhodes does. So
yeah. But we'll see more of Shane later on the show. But let's go to our first match: 1-2-3 Kid versus Hakushi. We get a recap of Barry Horowitz beating Hakushi from Monday Night Raw. And I don't know if you noticed right before the match begins, a Stridex blimp that's floating around the arena. It was like super low. It was like by the fans. I was like, why was this so low? It's like
So
running out of
this is
air.
the so I don't know. It's not on the DVD. They cut out all the when they say it out loud. But this is I don't know if you remember, but when this aired and when they were promoting it, they kept saying Stridex presents SummerSlam '95. Do you remember that?
No, no,
So do
no.
they say that on Peacock? Does he say Stridex presents SummerSlam '95 out loud, Vince? Or
I don't recall.
okay, so I remember I put on the TV one day that summer of '95, and Vince and whoever else kept going, Stridex presents SummerSlam '95, Stridex presents, and I thought like, wow, Vince must have no money. They must be doing so bad that they had to like give Stridex this full like sponsorship. Like I thought he had no. I was like Vince must have $0, not knowing how the world works. That actually he probably got a ton of money for saying for weeks and weeks, Stridex presents, Stridex presents, Stridex presents.
Yeah, it's like the Slim Jim money, you know?
Yeah, but like I thought like, well, he didn't have to do this at SummerSlam '89. These fucking losers.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I mean, later on it gets so much worse, right? What was that?
Oh, now it's horrible.
What were they doing with the Zombie Battle Royal? Like, what were they
That was for
sponsoring?
the Zack Snyder zombie film. But remember, they had like dude wipes, like wipes for men's asses, all over the ring for the Usos match at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, it's so much worse now. It's so much worse. Yeah, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when Vince McMahon Jr. decided to sell his company. You know, this is what happens. You know,
I
stupid.
mean,
There's no.
I mean, I almost wish that wrestling had no sponsors like this. But like, I understand the money is so good. Why would you say no? You know?
Yeah, I get it. The money is good. Yeah. Anyways, we get a great opening exchange between both of them. And they're showing that they're equal. They keep just end up being equal. People start cheering Hakushi though, including when he does his handspring back elbow as he controls most of this match. Hakushi hits a handspring, no hands, moonsault over the top rope onto the floor on 1 2 3 Kid. That was a fantastic move. Kid
That's what
fires
Jerry
back.
Lawler called the wonton
Ramen
moonsault.
noodle moonsault. Ramen
The
noodle
ramen
moonsault.
noodle.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, this is the variation. This is the wonton moonsault.
This is the one time moonsault, yeah. 1 2 3 Kid, he fires back though, and he hits a high risk move of his own. However, excuse me, 1 2 3 Kid, he tries a spinning heel kick, but Hakushi catches him and then hits a power bomb and he to win the match. I gave this match an A. This was a fantastic opening match. I really liked it. They made
Great
both
match.
guys look great.
Great match. I think so shortly after this, Akushi turns face and becomes a partner of Barry Horowitz, which just tells me you have no idea what to do with this guy. That you did
Yeah.
that. They really missed the boat on Hakushi. I think Hakushi could have been a big deal for them for years and years to come. He could have
Yes.
been like like Spider-Man has Venom,
Yeah.
like the Dark. He could Undertaker's already Venom, and Hakushi could have been his like Spider-Man or his like from what I'm saying, like he could have been it's the opposite where like now there's like a good version of that. I don't know. He just could have been something special,
He could have
and
been
I
the
think
anti-venom.
and he I'm gonna get into this a little bit later with Isaac Yankem, but the thing about Isaac Yankem is he looks like such a loser. And if you watch this match and you don't know what happens in the future, you'd assume this guy went nowhere. And it's just you change a couple of things, and the guy looks like a superstar, like the way his presentation. We'll get all into that in a minute. But Hakushi already looks like a superstar, and he already has the work rate. So I don't know, unless it's just racism, I don't know why you don't push this guy for years and years and treat him special.
It's probably because he couldn't speak English.
I don't give a shit. Then give him Jim Cornette. You have Jim
Yeah,
Cornette right
good
there.
point. Yeah, good point. One thing I will say about this is they the 1 2 3 Kid will take the Bronco Buster from Hakushi probably, from this probably.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Hakushi does that, but without the extra humping, and 1 2 3 Kid admitted that he took it from Hakushi. So I wonder if he got
I
it
think a
from
lot of things that Hakushi did other stars take because he's kind of forgotten about, but he was so
Yeah.
revolutionary for that era. I mean, everyone's so bad in that. Like he literally comes after WrestleMania 11, it's one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, and I think a lot of people, and I'll say this to the AEW wrestlers, to study his matches because nobody remembers him. So if there's something that you can take from like a match he had at Superstars in '95, just take it because nobody's going to remember it. So, and he's
Yeah,
probably better. He's a better worker than all of you anyway. So,
yeah. So Doc Hendricks, he's in the back, and he is with Mabel, and he asks Mabel, "Hey, Mabel, you said you had a final plan. What's the final plan? Can you tell me a little bit of the final plan?"
I'm
Mabel's
gonna
like, "You're
eat.
gonna have to wait like everybody else," and then he does his evil laugh. How are you liking this evil Mabel so far?
Awful, awful.
Awful.
So I will say this, and I'll give Vince this. I will give
Yeah.
Vince this, and Triple H doesn't do this. Vince would do this. Vince is taking a chance with three new guys, Kama, Isaac Yankem, and Mabel. And he's putting them up against established stars and giving them long matches. And I think it's I think it's in the best. What he's looking for is for these three guys to hit the next level. And Isaac Yankem's the only one who does, and it takes him years. But he is trying. He is trying with three new people, and I'll give
Not
him
so
that.
true. Kama does with Godfather. Godfather was
Yeah, but Kama doesn't become a main eventer like you never saw Kama versus Steve Austin. You saw Kane versus Steve Austin. You never saw Kama versus Shawn Michaels. You know what I'm saying? You never saw him become Godfather. Like he becomes a big name, but he's really trying with these three. He wants these three guys to be above that. What I'm saying, he wants these three guys to be like big stars, and
yeah.
he's trying on this show.
Yeah. Okay. Um
But it's not working with Mabel.
no, it's definitely not. He'll be entertaining and he'll be around for a while, but Evil Mabel, I just was never I never bought it. Um
Mm-hmm.
Match number 2. We get Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H. I'm just gonna call him Triple H, it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Back when he was Triple H, we did he didn't go by initials. He comes out, and as he's walking with the Dean Douglas gimmick, the gimmick that Dean Douglas should have, he gets a mouthful from Superfan Vlad, which is a cool little exchange. And he's gonna be facing Sparkplug Bob Holly. Now, Hunter in the ring is very regal-esque, and he's like stalling in the beginning, and then
He's a William Regal clone.
yeah, he's a William Regal clone, and it looks really good. He plays it off well. I
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid watching that, I used to think he would like he does it well. Like to Triple H's credit, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna totally like really
Mm-hmm.
give my 100% in this role, and he did. I thought he did come off really regal. What did you think? Yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm describing Hunter Hearst Helmsley, what I'm telling you, what I want Dean Douglas to do. And
yeah,
Triple H eventually becomes like, I'm going to kick your ass and stuff. But that's not the role he's given when he comes
yeah,
in. You're this aristocrat. You're a snooty, like, kind of wimpy guy who backs away from people. And then you weasel your way into winning, and he plays it off. And if you notice, he does do like the he does do like a prissy voice when he first gets hired. He doesn't,
yeah. He did. He did do the
yeah,
prissy voice when he first started. He did
yeah.
with
But
a
that's what
little
the
bit of an
character called
accent. Yeah.
for.
Yeah, with a little bit of an accent, he did. He did.
Mhm.
And so in this, because he's like a prissy guy, he takes a cheap shot at Bob Holly, but then Bob Holly fires back and starts beating on Triple H until he gets dropped on the ropes. Uh, Hunter starts posing to cheers in the audience. And then we see Davy Boy during this match. They show you a backstage clip of Davy Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, entering the arena.
Mhm.
Hunter hip tosses Holly over the top rope, but Holly hits a DDT, and they square up in the ring. Holly fires back, but Hunter ultimately hits the pedigree to win. I give this match a solid B. This was an entertaining match as well.
I like this match a lot, and you know who I have to give a lot of credit for getting Hunter over in this era is DDP. So, do you know this story that apparently, like the first match Hunter has on TV, he hits a diamond cutter as his finish?
No.
So his first finish is the diamond cutter, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and DDP calls it, and he's like, "Hey man, that's my finish, and if you do it on WWE, it's really gonna, I really think you're gonna be a big star one day, Hunter. And if you do that finish, it's gonna screw me." And Hunter said, "Okay, I'll come up with a different finish." And I think the pedigree no one is doing that move, and I don't think it would have been the same with the cutter. I don't think his career would have been the same. So he owes a lot to DDP DDP standing up for himself and Hunter like backing down, being I'll do a new finish. I think that was really smart of Hunter to do.
Yeah, I remember they even played up in this match. They talk about the pedigree, and I remember when I was a kid watching that finisher, it was definitely a cool looking finisher. It still is. It still is a cool looking finisher. You know?
It's a great move, and I don't think we've seen it before this match on any of these pay-per-views. And I'm glad he did that instead of the cutter. Like that would have been stupid. I'm glad he
And you
did it.
know,
And
back then he did it like when we're watching it now, he did it like it was more painful because he really wouldn't let go of the guy's arms.
yeah. He
He
doesn't
was
know
laying
yet.
on his face. Yeah, if you watch like after like like late '90s, 2000s, Triple H does let go of the arm so you could protect yourself a bit. But if you watch like back then, he just like you just had to take it face first. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was brutal. It's a great looking finisher. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good. I kind of miss this version of Hunter.
You know what I
Um,
want? You know what I want? I want Kevin Owens. This is what they should do. Kevin Owens is like, if I beat Cody Rhodes with the belt, you have to go back to talking and acting like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You can no longer and then he wins the belt, and then Triple H has to come out being like, "Hello, welcome to SmackDown. I'm Hunter Hearst Helmsley," and he's wearing
and
like the
he has to wear the
yeah,
puffy shirt.
and he does the slow walk with the cane. I think that would be so funny. Like he's forced to go back to acting like that
Yeah, and he has to wear a wig. He has to wear a wig.
with the long with the shitty ponytail.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
the
what's
shitty
that.
ponytail. You know what? There should be a gimmick right now where somebody looks like a British fop, like with the powdered wig and everything, and just wrestle. Like I think that would be really funny if somebody that's his gimmick. He's like a British fop.
Hunter is not the best worker ever, right?
No.
And he's not my top 5 favorite of all time. He's not even my top 20. He's not even my top 30, I don't think, of the greatest wrestlers in the history of the world. But I will say this, he is the smartest. He knows when to bide his time. He's like the Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, yeah, he's like the Doctor Doom Lex Luthor of wrestling. He knows when to be a henchman. He knows when to bide his time. He knows like if you ask me to eat shit, I'm gonna eat it and enjoy it. Or when the time comes, I'm gonna get mine. And he did it, and now he's running everything. And Vince is pooping on some
He,
girl's head in Wisconsin.
Hunter is a very calculated man, and
He is
uh,
very
yeah,
calculated. I would never guess if you said to me in '95 one of these guys on this show is going to be running WWF in 2024. I would probably have picked Diesel or Brett or Undertaker.
hmm hmm yeah, I would have
Yeah.
never thought Triple H. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So after this match, we get Top Pettingale. He's recapping War on the Water. Basically, what this was a fundraising event where they had WWF superstars doing a tug of war with the firefighters to raise money for the firefighters foundation, a fundraiser in Pittsburgh. And basically, they're on these two platforms on the river, and they're doing a tug of war across the river. And the firefighters lost, so they all had to jump in this dirty ass river. Um. Anyway,
I loved it.
that was what What did
Did
you
you
say?
like it?
The you're
My
breaking
fucking
up
what?
again.
Sorry. I'm waiting for trick or treaters because we're recording this on Halloween. So sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I like these little segments. I like these little charity events look so ghetto on these old shows compared to what they do now. You know,
hmm
these old
Yeah, it
charity
was.
events. These old charity events look so ghetto compared to what they do now. Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah, but this wasn't like
But it makes them
this
fun.
wasn't
Makes
this
them fun.
wasn't their charity event. This was like I think just like from the
I
town.
know. Back then they had to like take whatever they could get.
Yeah. But it was still nice that they did something like that. Let's go to match number 3. The Blue Brothers, Jacob Like Blue with Uncle Zeb versus Uncle Zebekiah versus the Smoking Guns. Billy Gunn starts this match, but he takes a beating from both the Blues Brothers, who are much bigger than both the Guns. He hits his Famouser, which is another great move, a unique finishing move, but at this time, it is not his finishing move. Did you always like what were your thoughts on the Famouser?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's
It's a good
actually a
move for him.
pretty yeah, I think it's a pretty good finishing move because it's one of those moves you could hit on anybody anytime, you know?
Yeah, and you can kind of, and I think it's kind of like a safe thing to hit on people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never heard anyone get injured from it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, when Marty Jannetty did it, he crippled the jobber.
He was probably on a lot of. He was probably on all the drugs back then.
Yeah.
You know, when you're sober, like Billy Gunn, it works.
Yeah. Anyway, uh Billy Gunn, he tags to Bart Gunn, who gets a beat on by the Blues as well. Basically, ultimately, what happens is Billy Gunn, he gets double teamed by both the Blues brothers to cheers. Pittsburgh fans like the heels, and they also like good moves because the Blue brothers, even though they're kind of bad, they do hit good tandem tag team moves. Like they do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
good teamwork moves. However, ultimately the Blue Brothers they bonk heads, and then the Guns hit their sidewinder finishing move to win the match. I gave this match a B2. It wasn't a bad match. Pretty good tag team match.
It was all right. It felt more like a Raw match or Superstars match than a pay per view match, but it was all right.
Yeah. Todd Pettingale, he's in the back, and he recaps what happened with Barry Horowitz, who was a jobber, perennial jobber, and then he got his first win on Skip from the Body Donnas, and then after he got this win, he turned into a nerd somehow. I never understood this. Why did he turn into a nerd all of a sudden?
I think when I was a kid, I got excited for this. When they told me Barry Horowitz won, I was very excited. I think they were trying to replicate the 1, 2, 3 kid with this guy, and it just didn't work.
Well, it's because they made him turn into a nerd.
I know because yeah, a Jewish nerd. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have been
that,
better if he was just like they tried to. They tried to. I think Vince wanted him to look younger because now they were treating him like a real person. I would have just kept him because he always looked like a middle aged man who like got out of work. That's what kind. Dude, we used to like when we would talk about losers, it would always be Barry Horowitz. Like as kids, that's who we would talk about. Barry, imagine they made event at WrestleMania with Barry Horowitz. Like it would just be like he's like the running joke. So when he won, it was a big deal. But then they tried to make him a character. He should have just kept being like this weird looking middle aged man.
yeah, yeah. When I first heard about this too, that Barry Horowitz won, I got excited too because I was like, oh my god, well, holy crap! But then like they just changed his gimmick completely, and he started wearing a pocket protector, these fucking glasses, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And that made me lose interest like right away. 1, 2, 3 Kid was a different story. He came and he beat Razor Ramon, and he didn't change his look at all. He just got a name now, and it just
Exactly.
happened to be 1, 2, 3 Kid. But he didn't change his look in any way. He didn't change the way it was presented. Barry Harwood's presentation got completely changed, and it didn't make sense either because you're gonna see when he match number 4, he's not gonna come out dressed like a nerd at all. He comes out with Hava Nagila as his theme song, so he's like, "You're a nerd
A
or you're
junior.
Jewish." Yeah, it's just weird. He's gonna be facing Skip a rematch. Skip comes out with Sonny on the microphone, and Barry Horowitz, when he comes onto the ring, he attacks them right away. He's got this really crappy gear. It's got suspenders that he just decides to it just rips right away. So he has to just take them off. He's like, these suspenders suck. Uh, Barry Horowitz, he suplexes Skip from the ring to the floor, which gets a huge pop. Then Sunny, she gets in the ring and she throws the towel, saying like, "Oh, the match is over." But Earl Hebner, the referee, kicks her out. Um, Sunny she trips up Barry Horowitz for Skip to start getting the heat on, as fans do chant for Barry Horowitz. So he is kind of over.
Yeah, because people like seeing him. People like seeing him get a little victories here and there. Daddy.
Yeah. Skip hits a flying headbutt, but he doesn't cover Barry, which allows Barry Horowitz to start firing back. Sonny shakes the ropes though when Barry gets on the top rope and he crotches Barry on the top, and then Skip hits the superplex. But then all of a sudden, Hakushi comes down. and he gets on the apron and he starts distracting Skip for causing him to lose to Barry Horowitz. Remember, Skip's the one who caused him to lose. So now all of a sudden, Hakushi does a thing where he just jumps on the top rope and then he like jumps over Skip and Barry for Barry to allowing Barry to use that distraction to inside cradle Skip for the victory. This is a decent story in this match, so I gave it a B plus. It wasn't bad at all. I liked it.
Yes, but I will tell you what the real star of this match is.
Yes.
And looking back, now we're years ahead, and there's obviously been hotter women than Sunny. But bro, for the time, Sunny was a fucking revelation on that show. They did not have a.
Go ahead, sorry.
She didn't. A lot of the wrestling women, besides Miss Elizabeth, are like wrestling hot. Like they're hot, but they look like they like pass out at the bar, right? Sunny looked like the type of woman. She looked like a movie star. She looked like a TV star, and she had personality. She talked to me. She's talking him to the ring. She is really like the first woman to stand out. Not even Alundra Blaze and Bertha Faye stand out. Like she stands out. Like she just has everything. She could have been so big, and unfortunately, her troubles get in the way. And when I know her, right? I met her a bunch of times, and she's very likable in real life too. But there was never like a woman who looked like that before, and I think she kind of changes everything. I think I think you can put a correlation from Sunny showing up to where we are right now with women wrestling all over the United States.
I think putting her with Skip was a mistake for Skip.
Well, that's her boyfriend. He was obsessed with her. I mean,
yeah, and calling him Skip was a mistake too.
She should have been with Shawn Michaels on TV.
Yeah, or anybody, but I mean, like whoever she was gonna be with, she was gonna really outshine, and maybe it was better for her to like not have been with almost anybody.
Dude, she walks, but the other problem was she wasn't a worker. But I mean, like she can wrestle. She walks out of the gate like, "This is my show. This is my show." There's no other woman like her before this. She's on the mic and she's really stealing the fucking show. And man, like it's still impressive to see like people like if you go back and watch it, like what's the big deal? There was no one like her before. There was nobody.
Yeah.
She caught my eye back then. I'm like, oh my God, this girl was like amazingly hot. And I wasn't, she was like the only reason I would check in on WWE back then.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't Barry Horowitz?
No, it wasn't Barry Horowitz or Shawn Michaels sexy dancing. It was her.
All right. So maybe it was Dean Douglas, who we get a next segment from. Dean Douglas, he's in the back again, the classroom. Well, really just in front of a chalkboard, not really a classroom. Mm-hmm. And he's there to define the word vivify. Vivified definition is Barry Horowitz getting vivified by Hakushi, allowing him to get the win. After this, Todd Pettengill has a reply, and he totally buries Dean Douglas. He goes, "Yeah, nobody cares about you," pretty much. And then,
by the way,
yeah.
If also, I gotta say this in Dean's defense, they did nothing to help him get over. They already let you know this guy's a fucking loser.
Yes. He's also somebody his ring gear did not match. I just thought his
no. When we get to that in the next few pay-per-views, because he wrestles in a few of the shows, he looks like an idiot.
Yeah, he looks like an idiot. Yeah, absolutely. So Todd Pettengill goes, nobody cares about Dean Douglas. Let's talk about something that people do care about. And he recaps the very first ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. And he is with Shawn Michaels, who says he has he goes, "I have nothing in my life except the Intercontinental belt. I have nothing else except for the Intercontinental belt and this sweet unibrow that he's fucking sporting." He had a fucking unibrow, dude. How is he sexy? Yeah, he had a unibrow.
He's a sexy boy.
I guess that's sexy, yeah. And he's like, "Nothing's gonna stop me from grabbing the title, as I'm the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time." Is he the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time?
I think you can make a case. I still think it's Hockey Talk, man. I think it's a three-way tie between him, Bret Hart, and Gunther.
I think Bret's the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time.
I
Because he
think
has,
you can make a case for
cause,
Bret for all three of the main belts: IC, WWE, and tag belt. That he's the greats in every category.
yeah, because I remember, like, I distinctively remember, like,
He made the belts a very
I
important. We'll say that.
distinctively remember three important Intercontinental Championship matches from him: Mr. Perfect, Roddy Piper, and Bulldog.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I will say though that Gunther has kind of brought that back, and he, the belt was kind of treated with importance until before Bret Hart got it. It was not treated important when Gunther got it. It was treated as just this fucking prop, and he made it important. So I got to give Gunther a lot of props for that.
Yeah, I give him props for that too. Yeah. Let's talk about a title that's also forgotten. The women's belt. This is match number 5. Bertha Faye, who comes out with with Harvey Whippleman. Yeah, Barry Horowitz. Harvey Whippleman. I will say I like Bertha Faye's theme song. Her entrance theme sounds kind of fun, you know?
It is fun, yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna be facing the champion Alundra Blaze. Little cat and mouse to start the match, as Bertha Faye is much bigger than Blaze, so Blaze has to do a hit and run. So Bertha uses her frame to really knock down Alundra Blaze a few times. Um, Junior notices some lipstick on Harvey Whippleman's face, and he goes, "I think he put it there himself," which I thought was kind of funny. um, that part to me was funny. Harvey Whippleman
That is fun.
distracts the 3 count that Alundra Blaze has, and that causes her to start going after him around the ring. But back in the ring, Alundra Blaze hits the Hurricane Rana and drop kicks Bertha Faye. But Bertha hits a sit out power bomb to win the match and the title clean. I give this
Clean.
match a C. It's an average match.
It's average. I think they did this to make you believe that Mabel could win clean. Like she's basically the female
Oh,
Mabel.
yeah,
Um,
I guess you're right.
Bertha Faye is a good one where like she has the right outfit and it makes her look like a star as opposed to some of these other people that don't
Really,
know how
I
to dress.
disagree. I disagree.
It
I
made it look like
think
it makes her look like a goofy star.
it looked too hokey to me. It looked too hokey. Um,
Well, it hides her body well. I'll say that.
yeah,
She
but
looks more
you could
legit than Kimberly.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I just never liked Bertha. I didn't like the way she was presented.
I mean, I
And
mean,
the wrestler herself didn't like it either. That's why she was like, I don't like doing this, and she kind of like just quits.
well,
She asked for a release, and they just gave it to her. Because
she won't get
she's
in the Hall of Fame with
supposedly
that attitude.
yeah, she was like a hardcore, like a legit wrestler in Japan or something like that. And then they asked her to do this goofy shit, and she was like, I don't want to do this shit. So um,
Should have showed up like Sunny.
yeah, but this is also when WWF you weren't making a lot of money back then here.
Oh
So
yeah,
they
they
could
treated
just
women like second class citizens, like up until
yeah.
recently, actually.
Yeah, up to like we're talking like less than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Jim
they're
Ross.
finally like making what the men make, like Liv Morgan and stuff is finally
Yeah,
like
and
making.
I'm not even joking when I say like I think this recently started like, less than 10 years ago where they
Yeah,
started making legit money. Yeah. Um so Jim Ross, he's back with his company. He's trying to talk to her, but Harvey Whippleman yells at him, "Hey, don't talk to my woman," which I got a kick out of. I do love Harvey Whippleman. He's great. They should have never got rid of him. He was fun.
he's still in the back. They never got rid of him.
Wait, Harvey Whippleman still works there?
Yeah,
Really?
he basically is like a gopher. He basically is like a runner. Like if somebody's like, oh, like Undertaker needs a monster, they're like, Harvey, get in the car, go get a case of monsters for the boys and stuff. Or like,
Wait,
oh,
he
we need a Santa hat for this sketch. Harvey, go to Target, get a Santa hat. Who he does.
so he so he's always been there?
Yeah, I mean, unless he left recently, he was there up until like 5 years ago, still doing that. That's what he does. He just sits in the back, and they're like, And like, oh, you know what? Vince wants lunch. Go get lunch. Like he wants from this restaurant. Go get it. And that's all he does.
Does he get paid well for that?
I mean, if he's still there doing it, I would imagine. Yeah. That's not a
Wow.
bad gig to have for
That's not a bad gig to have because I'm like, how many times are they going to ask you to do something, right?
I mean, they're probably gonna ask him all day because I guarantee you Vince changes his mind and he's like, I want this, I want that, I want these stuff. I don't like the curtains at this funeral home sketch. I want a blue, and then he has to fucking go buy blue curtains.
Oh, well, why did they? They should have just kept the Harvey Whippleman character.
No, no, he needs to go buy. He needs to go buy blue condoms for Vince. He's busy.
Blue condom. All right. Yeah. Wait. Why blue?
Because they make my dick look bigger when I'm fucking the intern.
Do you remember that story where he would like he named the dildos like different names of the superstars?
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. Kobe Kingston. He probably had to go buy the dildos. He probably had to go buy the dildo. Come on, he's got. You
Dude,
can't
I
have
believe
him.
that.
You can't have him ringside with fucking Carmella when Vince needs his blue dildos and his black dildos. Come on.
I bet you Harvey did have to go get some. I bet you.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon isn't shopping for dildos. He had to go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I totally believe that.
Come on, Harvey. When they're at MSG, Harvey probably walks down to like the sex shops and stocks up on dildos. You can't. What do you need him on TV cutting a shitty promo when he could be buying these black? All right, let's move on. This got dark. Jesus.
Todd Pettengill, he recaps the issues between Undertaker and Kama, explaining how Taker, now that he lost his urn, he draws his power from the goth kids that sit in the front row. And we even get a recap of Kama destroying the goth guy, who sits in the front row. And Gorilla Monsoon being upset with this, because after all, the goth kid is still a fan. So he was like, oh, I'm making this a casket match. So that is what we're getting here. Match number 6, a casket match between Kama with Ted DiBiase versus Undertaker, who comes out with Paul Bearer. Taker starts with the attack, and there's a very cheesy coffin camera in the coffin, which I hate it. Why did you put a fucking camera in here?
I didn't really like this match at all.
Yeah. It was all right at some points. Kama, he gets put in the casket, but Kama fights back and they get out of it. They both get in the casket at one point, and then Taker gets out and he tries to close the lid, but DiBiase distracts and it saves Kama from losing the match. Kama starts beating up Undertaker to a "Rest in Pete" chant from the crowd. DiBiase gets a shot in on Undertaker, and then Paul Bearer tries to get at Ted DiBiase, and the referees have to hold him back. That was a cool moment too. Yeah, I did like that. While Paul Bearer could even though he was like a frumpy guy, every once in a while he could still fight, if he needed to.
I like that. That was fun.
You did mention this, how like back then, like every manager could somewhat be a threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Like they don't really have that now, which is unfortunate.
No, Paul Heyman just stands. Well, Paul Heyman's too old at this point, but he's really the only manager.
Too old. Stokely
Paul Ellering is still old.
Who?
Paul Ellering. He's still there.
Yeah, but he's too old.
Yeah, they're too old. Yeah. But also, Alex, I think it's harder now. Like it's harder now with the WWE Network and people's long-term memories to have who would be a good manager who could get involved if he's still like in good health is like Shane Douglas would be great. But people have the memory of him, so they're going to be chanting franchise while he's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And the same thing, Raven would, if he, I heard he's in bad health though, but if he wasn't, Raven would be a great manager, or Sandman would be a great man. I love it's all ECW guys, but it's harder because, like I said, people have longer term memories, and it's I don't know. It's like Bobby Heenan had like 2 lives. Live as a wrestler, was alive as a manager. Same thing with Paul Bearer. But now, like, it's harder. It's just harder.
Yeah. So Taker and Kama, they start fighting outside, and Kama, he sues Undertaker on the coffin lid. Then they fight on top of the casket, and then Undertaker backdrops Kama back into the ring to a loud rest in Pete chant from the crowd. He power slams and covers Undertaker, forgetting that it's a casket match and covers don't count in this match. I don't know if he did that on purpose or an accident, but it was kind of funny. Kama puts on a headlock on Undertaker, but has his feet on the ropes, and Paul Bear knocks his feet off the ropes and then does a fucking Jeff Jarrett strut or Ric Flair strut, which I thought was really funny and out of character for him. That part was great, man. I never seen that was like the one moment where Paul Bear was like not in this like creepy mortician like character.
Paul Bear is feeling himself in Pittsburgh this night.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's feeling himself. Yeah.
I'm feeling myself, brother.
Taker starts to fight back, and then they both fall in the casket, and the lid is closed. But they pop it open right away before it closes completely, and they actually break off a piece of the lid. Kama crawls out first, but Undertaker drags him back in, and they both get out of the coffin. And then the fans start going crazy when Undertaker hits the tombstone. And then he rolls Kama into the coffin, and then he closes the lid to win the match. A lot happened, but this is basically an average match. But I give it a C+ for the effort.
I went on too long, and I don't think Undertaker nor Kama were good enough at this point to have this match go on too long. I consider this the worst. I was like, how is this still going? How is this still going? And
yeah, this is the worst match of the show. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Actually, the women's match was the worst. I thought.
No, this was worse because the women's match is over, and I find Alundra Blaze to be hot. This is worse. It's too long.
But this match had Paul Bear doing the strut. You know
I know, but I'm attracted to Alundra Blaze, so it's better.
Todd Pettengill.
I'm attracted to Paul Bear.
Yeah, Todd Pettengill recaps Bret Hart and Jerry the King Lawler's feud that's been going on for 2 years. They mentioned
2.5 at this point.
2.5. This is ridiculous. This feud has been going on for 2.5 fucking years.
And if you think about this guy, Bret Hart only has 2 years left in his singles career at WWE, and then he leaves, and they're just wasting it on. But hey, listen. In Vince's defense, he's trying to move the Heat brother to Isaac Yankem. He's trying to get over Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah. So they show you Isaac Yankem and how he started because because Jerry King Lawler had his feet in his mouth. He had to go to the dentist, and his dentist got upset about it. So he's a wrestler. Todd Pettengill, he talked to Bret Hart about how this is your final chance to finally shut up the Jerry the King Lawler, unlike the other times where it was like finally your chance to do it. This one's different, right? I feel like every time there was like finally you have a chance to shut him up. It's like stupid. Bret cuts a promo on Yankem with a lot of teeth references. I was like, ugh. It was like, oh, I'm gonna fill the cavity with him. I was like,
I feel like Vince wrote this for him. This is what you have to say, pal.
Yeah, it was like we're gonna pull out. I'm gonna extract a painful move. I was like, oh, awful. Match number 7. We got Jerry the King Lawler, who introduces his dentist, Dr. Isaac Yankem, who comes out to drilling noises in his theme song. This has to be the worst entrance theme ever. Just drilling noises. It just sounds awful.
It's everything. This is such a befuddling match for me, but let's keep going.
Yeah. Versus Bret Hart. Yankem, he beats on Bret to start, but Bret fires back and hits a slingshot plancha onto Yankem on the outside. Then Bret gets his arm caught between 2 ropes, and Yankem starts the beatdown process, including a top rope leg drop on a Bret Hart who's draped on top rope, which was a cool move, actually. Bret Hart fights back, and he dives through the ropes onto Dr. Isaac Yankem, and he slams him onto the steps. Bret gets the sharpshooter on, but Jerry the King Lawler gets his doctor's hand on the ropes to break up the submission move. They fight on the floor, and then they fight back in the ring. Bret Hart throws Yankem off the top rope, and then he ties up his feet with the cables around the post, and he starts beating up Yankem. Then Bret Hart turns his attention to Jerry King Lawler, and gives him a few shots before Yankem calls off the top rope, and he nails Bret Hart. Then Jerry the King Lawler and Dr. Isaac Yankum, they get Brett in a hangman's noose on the rope, and then the ref has to call for a DQ. So this feud is not over. It is a B-. I give it a B-. Yeah.
They actually resolved this feud on Raw in a cage match. So I'll say this. Glenn Jacobs, for his first pay-per-view match, really, this is his first match, period, I think, in this run in WWE. He's with Bret Hart on pay-per-view. Really holds his own. He does hold his own. However,
I agree. Yes.
However, he looks like shit. He looks like a fucking idiot. The gimmick is fucking stupid. And this is the perfect example. Did you see? I sent you Cody Rhodes' quote about body shaming and stuff, right?
Yes.
And this is a cosmetic business. This guy walks out. And I remember nobody talks about that this match is good. And I think besides the finish, this match is pretty good. When you consider where Glenn Jacobs is in his life, this match is pretty good, right? But people automatically dismiss this match because of the fucking gimmick and his fucking gear. He looks like an idiot. He looks like a loser. And I bet you in 95, everyone's ready to write this guy off. Like, that's it. Send him to the scrap heap with Bashing Booger and stuff. And you just switch a few things on this guy. And 2 years later, he's one of the biggest stars we've ever seen. And
to be fair, they didn't switch up a few things. They changed everything.
Everything.
They changed everything, yeah.
And that's why, I think it's
presentation. He's even wearing a wig as Kane. He's even wearing a wig.
But that presentation matters with everyone, because you would write this guy off as an also-ran, and in 3 years, he's one of the most important parts of turning the company around. And it's just, and that's the thing, like when we criticize, people go, you can't body shame. When I said Eddie Kingston looks like shit, or Deonna Purrazzo, or Kimberly, or these people, it's like, I know you have it in you. Well, maybe not Eddie Kingston, but I know Eddie Kingston can make a difference in a different role, right? And in a different presentation. And you're doing him a disservice, and you're doing everyone a disservice, and the company. Like, you can't criticize him. You have to just accept him in this role. And it's like, no, bro, there's a better role for him. And the same thing with this. You just change a few things, and this guy's a fucking star. And
by the way, you bring up Eddie Kingston and talk about body shaming. I'm going to give you guys a certain point, a point of reference that you could look at. Look up pictures of Eddie Kingston versus Cody Rhodes when he debuted. Compare to pictures of him now. You're going to see a noticeable difference of him just letting himself go.
Because he could use the don't body shaming excuse.
Yeah, and because now he doesn't have when he was hungry, right? Like to make it, he was putting more effort into it. Now that he find this probably like this long contract, and he found out that the owner's a mark, he just like let himself go and stopped going to the gym and all that crap. But dude, if you look at that picture, he's actually in much better shape. He's actually doesn't have a gut or anything. He just looks much better.
Because he thought he had to prove. He thought I got to prove myself.
Yeah, and exactly. He had something to prove. Yeah.
He realized that these idiots were going to let him fucking beat Daniel Bryan clean, looking like he was a drunk on the street, and he was like, okay. But dude, but Eddie, I just want to say to everybody, like, if you just change a few things, these people this guy was a dentist. He was a wrestling dentist. And he helped you drive WCW out of business because you changed everything on him, and you coached him, and he listened. And now he's a mayor. He's probably going to cause the rise of fascism in this country. That's what it's about. And it's just, but now you can't tell anyone anything. You know who else looks like fucking shit? I would keep. He looked like it looked stupid. Adam Cole. He looks so fucking bad, bro. It's like embarrassing how out of shape this fucking guy is. And beating the shit out of Buddy Matthews.
He used to be in shape too. He used to be in really good shape too.
He looked like a star in NXT. And man, and I'm saying this, and here's the thing, no wrestler's gonna hear this, but if it does, for whatever reason down the road, I'm saying this to help you. Adam Cole, I want you to be a star. Eddie Kingston, I think you could be a megastar as Bobby Heenan, not as this fucking shoot fighter bullshit with your fucking Beneguele. Diana Perazzo, I think you'd be a sex symbol, not with the way you're dressing. It's although that Reddit, remember there's a Reddit dedicated to her belly. They love it.
Yeah. Do you,
Yeah,
do you
I'm saying
something
this to
about
help you guys
something about wrestling in AEW? It allows wrestlers to just like do
because he's a
like the
mark that
bare
won't stand up for himself and
yeah,
stand up for his
they do
product.
the bare minimum. I'll give you an example. Do you remember AEW is where Keith Lee was like, I'm not even gonna dye my fucking hair anymore. I'm not gonna dye. I'm not gonna hide these. Yeah, I'm not gonna hide these grays. And if you remember when CM Punk was in AEW, he also didn't hide his grays.
And he wore
But
those long pants that look like shit and made him
yeah,
look old. And
and then as soon as CM Punk came to W, he's like, you know what? I gotta fucking look much better than what I used to look like because it's such a relaxed atmosphere that is set by the guy in charge that people are just like, what it's like? It's like having a company just like you guys could wear whatever the fuck you want. So people just start wearing
every
like flip flops and fucking like tank tops and shit like that. It's just like, no, you can't do that.
everything you do matters. Every
Yes.
this is a cosmetic business, especially wrestling, because you're half naked and you're rolling around with one another. Everything you do, everything you wear matters. And and okay, you want to be out of shape, that's fine. Then let's give you an outfit that accents the good things about it, which is what Nia Jax has or what Yokozuna had.
They should just like sign up. Like they should make another Marvel movie where everyone's just like not in shape and just like schlubs.
I mean that was kind of the woman in Captain America: Winter Soldier. She
Who?
hasn't done a single. The female villain in Captain America: Winter Soldier looked so out of shape, and she was whooping fucking. I'm
Who was
sorry,
the
Falcon and
female?
Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier. The Disney Plus show.
Was she
She
out
looked
of
like she
shape?
was 4 pounds. Not out of shape, but she looked like she was 4 pounds, and she's beating the shit out of Winter Soldier.
Yeah, yeah. It's not believable. It's not believable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Same
absolutely.
thing with the woman in the Marvels. She looked like too, like she runs an HR department, and
Yeah,
it's
she
it's
runs the
it's
HR in AEW. Yeah.
yeah. She was that lawyer, and then she got although I will say Marvels, I will say no matter what you can criticize a superhero film, the director or the stars, at least we were in Joker 2. Uh, Joker 2 is by far one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast.
I heard that. I heard somebody else. I heard somebody really likes that movie.
Dustin Chafin, and he's out of his mind. No matter what
No,
criticism,
Quentin Tarantino. He said he
yeah,
likes that
him
movie.
too. I don't give a shit. No matter what criticism Brie Larson ever gets about Captain Marvel or the Marvel, she can be like, at least we didn't make Joker 2, so leave me the fuck alone. I'd be like, you know what, you're
At
right.
least we didn't.
At
At
least
least we
things
didn't.
happen in my movie.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So after this, we got Doc Hendricks. He is with Razor Ramon, and Bret Hart just walked right past him, which I thought was kind of fun. And then Razor Ramon cuts a promo on Shawn Michaels, and then walks through the curtains for the next match. Why did they have Bret Hart walk past Razor Ramon during this?
I could see it being a faux pas, or maybe they want to give the sense that like the backstage area is always busy and things are always going on. I more or less I do kind of feel like that was a mistake and it was too late to edit it, and it's not that big of a deal to like edit it out. So
Oh,
I
I
mean
thought
they're
it was going
live.
to leave. What?
No, I just think it was a mistake.
Oh, okay. We're
But
gonna
it
go
kind of
into
adds to
our.
the fact that things are constantly going on in the back, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see that again later on, but um, in the show.
Maybe
But I
also they
do.
did that to establish what Razor does later with Dean Douglas, that
Yeah,
everyone's kind
exactly.
of
Yeah.
in proximity to each other.
Do you remember like a while ago when Steve Austin was like the commissioner of Raw, and they did this one long backstage segment where he kept running into people.
Yeah, The Rock did it too. That was really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I love that when they were doing that because it showed that like everything was happening like the backstage area. Like if you just walked a couple more feet, there was like nothing else happening. And walks a couple more feet and he sees like Rosie trapped in the fucking like telephone booth, right?
Oh, it was
And
great.
yeah, it was great. I love it when they don't do. I next they started to do stuff like that again
No, they do
recently.
that now. Yeah, they do that now on
Yeah,
Raw. Yeah, with the
yeah,
with
they
the,
do
the
it a
long
lot more now that
entrances.
the juniors out of there. But let's go to our eighth match. It is for the Intercontinental title in a ladder match. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, who comes out to a huge pop, and he comes out in blue gear. It looks nice. The blue gear does look good. He's really over. Shawn Michaels super over already.
Shawn Michaels, say what you will, he looks like the man. He knows he's the best. What I got from that entrance and him, he knows he is the best. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with WWE. Here's the problem with Shawn Michaels, and here's why they lost to WCW. He gets to the ring, and they have the merch guy talk. And the merch guy goes, well, you have the Shawn Michaels shades. Okay, great. You have the Shawn Michael fucking glove. Okay, cool. And also you get this poster. And the poster looks like something that like an old gay man would have in their bathroom. And I'm like, what kid would hang this poster? What? And that's the problem. It's like, and they're pitching this like, isn't this great? And they're pitching it to kids, and Shawn Michaels make like this bedroom face, and again, it's like something that I would see in like some old gay man who like the never got a boyfriend and just masturbates to gay porn all day and goes to the opera. Like it would be in his apartment, and it's like, how are you selling this to kids? And it kind of just ruins the company and ruins Shawn Michaels. It's like, no, dude, like there was a way to market this guy, and this was not it.
Why does it have to be old? Why does the game have to be
Because
old?
I don't even
Why
think a
can't
girl my age in '95 would have this poster. It is a very, dude, come on, it's very like,
an old gay man poster?
it's like a poster, like it's like an old gay man falls in love with like a 30-year-old bartender. He's like, if I pay you $1,000, you take photos for me, and he takes these photos. Oh, thank you. And he's like, oh my god,
Oh gosh.
my
You know what
boyfriend at the bar. He was like a male prostitute, dude. Like, what are they doing? Like, why did they think this was a good idea? The glove, the glasses. I thought it was gonna be like a shirt. I would have the poster. I would have Shawn Michaels being like, "Let's fucking go." He's got like his fist up, something, and he's just making like this like face, like he's like, "You want to come back to my room and have butt sex?" It's like, what are you doing? What are you? You know why? Because Vince was in love with him. The more I'm watching these old shows, I think around '95 they start fucking. You can't tell me anything that they didn't.
Really?
I think they were fucking in '95. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, speaking of Vince, joining him on commentary is Doc Hendricks, because Jerry the King Lawler is gone from the previous match. Oh, with Bret Hart.
Good,
yeah. And so Jack Doan is the referee, and he's putting the Intercontinental title on the ring, the round brass ring that goes up, and Shawn Michaels tells him to bring it back down because Jack Doan hung it up wrong, and he's noticeably pissed off and annoyed. And
that's the other problem with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
he can't. His ego is so big at this point that you can tell when he's annoyed, and that's a big mistake. You can't really. I don't think we ever saw John Cena mad at any mistakes, and I know John Cena got mad at several mistakes due to stories we've heard, but he never let the audience see it. And Shawn Michaels is just.
So here's the thing too. We were talking about Kane. You were talking about how like they kept him around, they just gave him something completely different. Whereas in Dean Douglas just went away. I think part of it was because Kane was such a likable person that they were like, we want this to work because we like you so much. He's professional. Oh, yeah. And I think Shawn Michaels is the opposite, but because he's so good, he got away with like murder.
And because Vince fell in love with him.
Okay, yeah. What's really funny about this when they do lower it so they could readjust the belt, Shawn Michaels he shoos Jack Doan away, and he goes, I'm doing it myself. He adjusts himself, and he goes, fire that shit back up. He is not here to fuck around. He is not here to play.
Because so you know what? You know why else he's in a bad mood? They told Razor and Shawn they couldn't use the ladder as a weapon. Like they couldn't take the ladder and hit each other with it, and that threw off their entire match.
Oh, I actually think that adds to the match.
No, I think it adds to it, but they had to come up with a new plan, like during Bret Hart's match. They had to like sit down and come up with a new plan, and I think Shawn was already annoyed that like, why didn't you tell us this weeks ago? And also, I don't know if you also remember this. They don't really address it on the show. It was originally Shawn and Sid And then Sid had some problems with Vince or whatever. So they changed it. And because I was like, oh, we've been building to Shawn and Sid for months, they went, fuck it, we'll just do a rematch of the ladder so people don't feel like they're getting ripped off. And so, they only had a few weeks to put this together. They didn't really know they were going to have a rematch. They thought it was going to be one and done. And but I think this is the best match in 1995. If you want my opinion?
Well, let's get into it. So Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, they start jaw jacking to begin the match, and they start shoving each other, and then they run the ropes with Razor Ramon avoiding a very early Sweet Chin music. Shawn Michaels hits the corner hard later on, and he gets so hard that he goes over the top rope on tumbling down to the floor. They fight on the apron, and Shawn Michaels says shit really loud as he gets vertical suplex out of the ring to the floor. His left leg clips the rail as well, but that was really funny that he screamed shit like right before it. That was funny. After some in-ring action, Razor Ramon finally gets the ladder as they show Sid watching from the back.
He gets them in a Raw match that Eric Bischoff spoils on Nitro.
What?
So he gets the winner of this match, and it's Shawn Michaels. And Eric Bischoff spoils the results of the match at the start of the Nitro because it was taped. It was on a taped Raw. And he goes, if you're thinking of watching Raw, don't. Shawn Michaels beat Sid with 5 super kicks. So just stay it on here.
Wow, that is dirty. That is dirty as hell. Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
I do love it though. Yeah, it's dirty, but it's ballsy. But I like that
Listen,
too. Yeah,
Vince needed it. I think if Vince didn't have an opponent like Bischoff, they wouldn't be where they are. So.
Yeah, because you know what? It's dirty, but it's like, hey, it's wrestling. Anything goes, right?
It woke them the fuck up because it's like, I'm
Yeah.
not fucking around with you guys.
This is what I like about this match. They do a lot of action in the beginning before they actually even go anywhere near the ladder. And there's only like one ladder in the beginning. So Shawn Michaels gets the ladder, and then he accidentally. Hold on, give me 1 second. I got a doorbell. Give me one moment.
Trick or treater?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is it Shawn Michaels asking for that poster? Is it that gay man? I heard that there's a Shawn Michaels poster for me. I'm so lonely. It's Halloween. I just want a poster of Shawn Michaels from my living room. I've never found love.
It is trick or treaters, and I'm not doing it. So, anyways,
I'm doing
Shawn
it.
Michaels, he gets the ladder, and then he swings it, accidentally hitting Razor Ramon with it. And Razor Ramon goes down, and Shawn Michaels does pause a little bit, like it was an accident, like he didn't mean to hit him with it.
There's 2 moments where they do that, and then Vince finally goes in commentary. I guess that was an accident. Like they cheated a little bit, but then they immediately like made a face like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Like, Razor drops the ladder on Shawn's leg, and it just goes like he just kind of shrugs to the camera, like, oh, I guess I forgot the rule,
Yeah, but also I think it adds a little bit where it's like, because they're both good guys in this match, right? And they're like, dude, I don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean, but they shouldn't be beating the shit out of each other with like weapons and stuff. That's what I hated. That I don't know if you remember Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay had a match on Dynamite, and they're trying to break each other's necks, and I'm like, aren't you guys like best friends?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to cripple one another?
And that's why I like this, because they're both at this match. Unlike the first one, in the first one, Shawn Michaels is the bad guy, right? And this one, both Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels are both faces. They're both good guys. And when Shawn Michaels accidentally hits Razor with the ladder, he's just like, oh, man, like, I didn't mean to do that, but fuck it, whatever. It is just what it is, right? Because, you're right. They're both good guys. They're not supposed to be doing that actively. So anyway, Shawn Michaels climbs the ladder, but then Razor Ramon grabs his trunks and pulls it down so Shawn can move the opposite hard cam crowd, and all the ladies have an orgasm from this.
and Vince too. And Vince starts jerking off on the table. Yeah.
No, I wish I was sitting on that side. I wish I was sitting on that side.
Oh God. Okay, where's Kofi?
Yeah. But it's not just a spot for the fans, for the lady fans. It actually makes sense in the story because it gives enough time for Shawn Michaels to pause and have to pull up his trunks, and doing that allows Razor Ramon to fucking like make Shawn Michaels tumble down the ladder with his left leg getting caught in the ladder as falls down. So it made sense, you know? You do that so the guy doesn't stop, keep climbing, and then it allows you to fucking knock him down, you know?
That's right, bro.
Razor Ramon starts stomping the ladder. Remember, because his left leg is caught in the ladder, it's like sandwiched between both rugs of the ladder. So Razor just starts stomping on it, and he starts working the leg on the ladder, which gets a lot of oohs and ahs from the audience because, and this is where I saw the storytelling, where it was like, Razor Ramon is being super aggressive because when he got hit with the ladder by Shawn Michaels, he didn't see it as an accident. He was like, this motherfucker did that on purpose. He hit me with the ladder on purpose. You know what? I can play that game too then. And then now he's like really hitting him with the ladder. And then Razor Ramon, like you mentioned, he just drops the ladder on Shawn Michaels' leg. Like, oops, you know, right? He just dropped like, oops. I guess, oh, that was an accident too, Shawn, right? And it actually gets a big cheer from the crowd. I loved it. Razor Ramon, he climbs the ladder with his back to Shawn Michaels, which was a big mistake because Shawn climbs the turnbuckles and hits a jumping axe handle on Razor Ramon. Then Shawn Michaels hits a backdrop on Razor off the ladder, and he starts beating on him, which gets some boos as the crowd is more behind Razor Ramon than Shawn Michaels.
Because Razor's a man.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's probably why. Shawn Michaels hits a moonsault off the ladder, but then he misses a body splash off the ladder. And then they both start climbing the ladder on unison on both rugs, and then they both fall, draping the top rope. Razor Ramon looks under the ring and brings out a second ladder. Razor hits the Razor's Edge, and then they both, Razor and Shawn Michaels, they do set up ladders, both the ladders. They both start climbing it, and Shawn Michaels hits a sweet chin music that doesn't really hit Razor Ramon, but grazes it enough where you can believe that it hit him, and then he falls off. But Shawn Michaels cannot get the title. He's too far away. He jumps for it, and he falls down too. Razor Ramon, he tries to go for a second Razor's Edge, but he gets body dropped out of the ring, and Shawn Michaels still, however, can't get the belt. So he throws a fit, and he adjusts the ladder, and then he climbs back up, and then he gets the title. Razor Ramon snatches the title away to get some boos, but then he hands it to Shawn Michaels. I give this match an A+. I think this was better than the first ladder match they had.
Yeah, I think it's better. I think the reason why the other ladder match gets so much love is because it was at WrestleMania, and WWE celebrates the legacy of WrestleMania more than the legacy of SummerSlams. But I really liked it a lot, and I think it is a clear indication that the best wrestler in the world, whether you like it or not, no matter how many posters where he looks like a gay male prostitute come out, is Shawn Michaels. He is the best wrestler in the world. No one cares about it, but it is what it is. He is the best, and this is he. You can tell he's improved so much since that first ladder match. This is a fantastic match. It's very underrated. It's on the cock. Check it out. Your cock will get hard, just like Vince's did the whole show. So
yeah, this is a must-watch match. This is an A+.
Must watch.
This is a must-watch.
And I think it's my favorite match of 1995. I mean,
unless
I'm forgetting something.
I think it might be the best match so far I've seen of 1995. Dean Douglas in the back, and he is reviewing this match like he did the Barry Horowitz match, and he's talking about how Razor Ramon is not just a bad guy, he's just not good, he's bad. And right when he's about to continue, Razor Ramon confronts him and he goes, "Oh, you think you're better?" And then he hits him once, signifying that there's going to be a future feud between these two.
I thought this was horrible. Dean Douglas is not on TV yet. He's not wrestling. Razor Ramon just went through a brutal ladder match. You know, a ladder match should be something you don't want to fight anyone. You want to go right to bed after. Instead, Razor's beating the shit out of this fucking guy. He's not wrestled yet, Dean Douglas. He didn't wrestle tonight. He's fresh, and you haven't debuted him. So nobody knows you're going to go with this guy. But right away, you're telling people, this guy's a fucking loser. Don't worry about it. And
what should have been was Razor confronts him, and as he's walking away, Dean fucking beats up already hurt Razor Ramon.
And you can sell, like, Dean's a piece of shit because Razor was devastated from that ladder match.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how you
Yeah,
put it. Like, this guy's such
I
a piece of
hated this.
crap. Yeah, he's such a piece of crap. He's him calling himself a teacher, but here he is, like, taking a shortcut by beating an already hurt man. That's how I would have presented it, you know?
What I got from this is that Vince brought in Shane to humiliate him. That's all I got from this.
I
That
think Vince brought him in initially because he wanted him to, like, oh, I think this guy can use him. And then after he already signed the contract and then he started actually talking to this guy, I think that's when he realized this guy has an attitude problem and I already don't like him. Like, I think
yeah,
it was one of those,
I would
like,
I thought this was a complete waste of time. Again, I would have had Dean Douglas jump Razor. Razor's like walking to like the medical
yeah,
training room.
uh-huh,
Hey, my back
yeah.
kind of hurts. And then stupid. Whatever.
No, it is. So Mabel comes out for the final match, and he's getting carried up by 4 guys on a throne, and these
Also,
4 guys are
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Also, Razor lost the match, and he's still beating this guy up. Like, that's
exactly.
the other thing. Like, Razor lost, and he still could kick this guy's ass. Like, come on. All right, let's go.
Yeah. These 4 guys who are carrying out Mabel, they look like they're struggling so hard. Todd Pettengill, he is with Diesel, and Diesel goes, "I'm gonna go medieval on Mabel." I was like,
Yeah,
Diesel's promos so bad at this point. They're just so bad.
Diesel just saw Diesel had probably just seen Pulp Fiction. It was like, oh, we use that live.
Yeah. You know what's really bad? I get that Diesel's champion, but he should not be main eventing after that match. Same way they didn't have Bret Hart main event when he was champion. You know? Right? That
Hey,
was weird.
man.
Like a year ago, you got Bret Hart the champion, not even main eventing the
Well,
pay-per-views.
I think this angle with Lex was supposed to lead to a big like 3-way feud, and Lex left, and I don't blame him after seeing what how they were kicking off this angle for him. But yeah,
Well, I just figured if you're gonna have that ladder match like that, and that needs to go last. That's
I
just what I
agree. I agree.
WWF title match, Mabel versus the champion Diesel. Mabel grabs the belt before the match and he starts posing with it and then he just throws it down. I did like that. That was a good heel thing to do. Pose with it and then just fucking chuck it away. Like, I don't fucking care. Mabel overpowers Diesel in the beginning because he's much bigger than him. And Diesel overcomes and he knocks Mabel out of the ring. Outside, Diesel eats the post and is able to big boot Mabel, and they're back to square one. Mabel just there's a moment where Mabel just goes, "I'm just gonna sit on Diesel's back," right? And
Yeah.
then we see that one of the turnbuckles got exposed, I think from Mo, and Diesel gets rammed into the exposed turnbuckle. Earl Hebner, he gets bumped out of the ring, and then Men on the Mission, they double team Diesel. Then Lex enters, but Diesel takes him out kind of by accident. He just taken out
No, well,
everybody.
British Bulldog, I just portrayed him, so he probably assumed that Lex was with Bulldog, so I'm gonna take him out before he gets in the ring. However, it makes Lex look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it makes Lex look bad. And then Mabel sends Diesel outside. Lex Luger takes out Mo to the back, which leaves Mabel alone with Diesel. And Diesel gets hit with a belly to belly from Mabel, but he kicks out. And then Diesel hits a second turnbuckle forearm to win the match. This is just a B. It was all right. You know, they tried.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
I hated
So
it.
all in all, I would just say you just gotta watch. I mean, that first match is really good, Hakushi versus 1-2-3 Kid, and I would say the ladder match is really, really good. You gotta watch that.
I would say that this is a pretty good show. If you are in the mood for 95 WWF, this is the best show to do it. The ladder matches must see. There's a lot of other fun little things. Yeah, so I mean, if you are in the mood for 1995 wrestling, this is the show to watch.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's talk about the next 4 weeks. Next week, it's Fall Brawl 95. It's the Hulkamaniacs versus the Dungeon of Doom. In 2 weeks, it's In Your House 3. And we've got Diesel and Shawn Michaels, which, by the way, I watched SummerSlam 95 on the DVD. They have a post show that sets up this match. So it's Diesel and Shawn Michaels versus Owen Hart and Yoko for all the belts. So in other words, if Yoko pins Diesel, he gets the WWE title. If Owen pins Shawn, he gets the Intercontinental title. If Diesel or Shawn pin either one of those guys, they get the tag belts. So it's a lot on stake in this match. And then in 3 weeks it's In Your House 4, which is Diesel versus British Bulldog. And then finally in 4 weeks it's Halloween Havoc 95, which is Hulk Hogan versus Giant in Giant's first match. Well, this year, they love putting guys who never wrestled before in major pay-per-view matches. I've never seen anything like this.
Like huge matches, yeah.
Huge important matches, yeah. So what are you looking forward to, my brother?
I'm actually interested in seeing how Big Show does in his first match without just like off the gate.
I've seen it. He does not do good.
I mean, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the show. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe to us. Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok, Ray Goots on Instagram and Twitter, Andrew Son of Lee on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We appreciate everyone. We're getting the home stretch of 95. And we're almost to Benoit, Guerrero, and Malenko in WCW, which changes a lot. Maybe not for Benoit's children, but it changes a lot for us as viewers. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week for Fall Bro Daddy. Bye-bye.